Morena 3i. I hope you're doing well this morning. I thought it was time after 7 full school days of lockdown that I give you a screencast where you can actually see me. I'm sad I can't see you, but hopefully that will happen again soon. So today we have a few things. I'm going to go through today's lesson with you. We're going to mark some of yesterday's work, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be looking at next week. So first of all, take a look at the screen in front of you. This is our GrammarNet page for the day. Good work on the film techniques quiz yesterday. Well done. Today we're going to consolidate some of the ideas we talked about yesterday about theme to do with our film. And we're going to mark some of that work, and you're going to end up by writing a few notes in your red exercise books. So could you please get those out now, and remember that at any stage you can pause this video while you reach for a pen or whatever it is that you need to do. Just pause and start it up again. Please be aware that all your previous lessons are in the archive. I might have said this to you already. None of them are, they're all disappearing off this front page. They're all stored in the archives at the bottom right of this lesson box. If you click down there, View Archive, you'll be able to see them all. All right, so today you're already doing number 1. You're watching today's screencast lesson and you've clicked on there. Number 2, please complete the short spelling quiz in the quizzes box below. So these are just the 5 words that I gave you at the beginning of the week. And remember that this is just an opportunity for you to test your own knowledge. Obviously, I can't see whether you're cheating and looking straight at your green book, but that's a bit of a waste of your time if that's what you're doing. Don't look at anything. Hopefully you've learnt them through the week, and give yourself a chance to test yourself. Next Friday we will be doing the full list of term 3 spelling words, so a much bigger quiz next Friday, so that you are staying up to date with those words, because in next term you will have to do in your term 4 exam, you will have to know all the words in your term 3 spelling list and all the words in your term 4 spelling list. So we need to keep them ticking over. But today it's just those 5 words. Don't cheat. You're only cheating yourself if you cheat. Okay. Finally, number 3, please could you fill out the checklist. Now, if you click on here, you'll get to the checklist, and you can just type in yes, 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 or do an electronic click if you want to, and then you can just save it and drag and drop the whole thing into the drop box below. Okay, or you can print it out if you prefer, scan it and send it back to me. But I've opened a Dropbox for you to do that, which should work really well for you, just to slide it in. Finally, before I go through yesterday's work, the homework for the weekend is minimal, but I haven't given you any feedback yet on your Canva advertisements. I was going to give you something by hand to get an idea of what mark you got. Since we can't do that, can you actually just drop these into the Dropbox for me as well? That should be really simple, that you've got it all online. Just slide those into the Dropbox, and then I'll be able to mark them in the Dropbox, and you'll be able to see what your mark is for your advertisements, which you finished before lockdown. Okay, cool. And please do remember that you can email me. Well, there's no chat box. That's not true. That's not up to date. It's the comment box that I think you can talk to me about at the bottom on the left here. Okay, let's go on to what I want to cover today, which is the questions that the written work that you did yesterday for me. Stand by me obstacles. Okay, these are the obstacles faced by the 4 boys. So, as I discussed in our screencast lesson yesterday, one of the important themes in Stand By Me is the theme of growing up. The 4 boys face a number of challenges which cause them to begin to grow up. The things they experience require them to grow in independence and to gain a larger perspective of things. So yesterday I asked you to answer the following questions in your red books, and we're going to go through these together. So number 1 was list the 5 physical tests encountered by the boys. So the reasons why I was asking you to look at these questions is to get into your brains what the boys had to go through, what it was that caused them to grow and mature and grapple with as they went through their journey to find the dead body. So let's have a look at this next screen. List the 5 physical tests, and there are a number of different tests that you could have chosen. These are the ones that I've chosen. First one, search for the body. They had to go out, they had to walk a long way, and they were determined to find that body. The second one was the crossing of the railway bridge, also known as a viaduct. It's a high railway bridge is often called a viaduct, and I will refer to it as the viaduct scene ongoing. That was a terrifying moment. They nearly died. That was a physical test. Third thing I've written down is staying safe overnight. So camping out, the coyotes, they were all pretty terrified by that. They had to keep themselves physically safe. Fourth thing is the leeches. That was quite a physical test, being eaten by leeches. And the fifth thing I've written down was standing up to Ace and his gang. They actually physically did not want to let Ace get in there and take the body for their shallow reasons of glory. And they stood up to Ace, and that was a physical test and a physical challenge. So there were some other physical challenges. Teddy playing chicken with the train. So if you don't get those 5, then you've got some others. But you can see that those are the 5. They are 5 actual physical challenges that the boys have to overcome. Now, what's the next question? Yes, these events above all require the boys to exercise courage. It takes courage to be physically tested, and therefore courage is another important theme in the film. All right, our next question is to name and describe one fear or problem Gordy has to face. Right, let's have a look at that. I've written down the loss of his brother Denny, or grief over the fact that his dad doesn't know him or seem to love him. Either of those two would work really well. Next question. Name and describe one fear or problem Chris has to face. Again, I've written down more than one. I've written down his dysfunctional family. He has to live in a family where his dad is drunk quite a lot of the time. So that's a problem he has to face. A big problem, of course, is that he's considered bad and judged unfairly because of who his family is. And we remember the milk money incident where the teacher was dishonest and held on to the money and let him take the blame because he was that kind of kid. So he's not even being given a fresh start or an ability to be the person he is. He's just judged as being bad because of his family. Right, number 4, that's our last question from yesterday. Both Teddy and Vern have fears too. Describe one for each of them. So I've done this for Teddy. I've written down that his loony dad, which is not a very nice way of saying that his dad has mental health problems because of the terrible experience that he had in World War II. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder, and he gets teased about that because his dad is an institution and does violent and crazy things from time to time. Vern, I've put down his fear of being left out, his fear of his big brother. Right. Nearly finished this little bit of our lesson. So as I discussed in our screencast lesson yesterday, I've already read all through all this. Other themes that are connected to the theme of growing up, other themes of courage, death, and friendship. Now, bear with me while I read this out loud, and then I'm going to ask you to take some notes. Growing up requires courage, as I've already said this morning. It's hard to change from being a kid who's looked after by others to an independent person who has to look after themselves. Growing up means facing death. We will all die one day. It's a sobering and scary thought. And when you're kids, you don't necessarily think about that so much when you're little kids. Finally, growing up, in fact, anything that's difficult at all, is easier to tackle when we have friends by our side. And this film is all about that idea, that with each other, these four boys get through a whole lot of difficult stuff, and the friendship is what makes it all doable. Friendship is something that can help us get through our most challenging experiences. So now what I'd like you to do is just to take notes of the highlighted bits in your own time. So just write in the front of your books these bits about the different themes that we are going to be discussing. Before you do that, just pause for a second. Could you just get your head around the fact that on Monday, I'm going to get you to log on to Google Classroom, and then I'm going to get you to do a bit of written work for me about the characters in this film. And during the week, next week, we will start our essay writing task about Stand By Me. So that's enough from me. I hope you have a really good day and a great weekend. Please do the checklist and drop that into the Dropbox, and please drop your Canva advertisement into the Dropbox for me sometime over the weekend as well, and then I can get that back to you marked next week. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.